On the show right now, we have one of my favorite TV hosts, Brian Kilmeade. He is the co-host of Fox and Friends. He has his own radio show, The Brian Kilmeade Show, which is also on Fox. And he has One Nation with Brian Kilmeade, also on Fox. So with everything that you have going on, I mean, you host Fox and Friends, One Nation, your radio show, and you're an author. How do you have time to plan a tour? And when do you sleep?
Thanks for the question. I mean, I'm lucky enough when you have the job, it's like coming here. It's a big gym. It's like, how can you help out? So the Saturday show is Saturdays at 9. But unless there's breaking news, I could tape it. So that allows me to, on weekends, to be able to go on stage. I used to do stand-up. I miss doing it, but I also feel in a way I got past it. And the one thing I love doing, people always ask me to talk about history or the news. I said, well, there's a lot of conflict of interest. If you ask me to talk to a trade show, are they voters? Am I talking to a group that might be Republican or Democrat? I can't be accused of being, say I go speak to a bank and that bank ends up going belly up. Well, who's their keynote speaker? That guy from Fox. Now I'm involved in some controversy. So all these speaking things where I really enjoy were getting turned down. I said, what if I created my own event? What if I talked about my 6 history books, and my 2 sports books, and made it inspirational, motivational, and educational? Mm-hmm. And I interact with the audience, and it's unscripted, and there's nothing on prompter. And I thought, after a while, after doing it for a year or so, I thought, what if I brought some of those moments to life? And then I had 2 friends of mine, big stand-up comedians, and we bring some of those great moments in history, from George Washington's Secret Six, Thomas Jefferson, Tripoli Pirates, Andrew Jackson, The Miracle of New Orleans, Sam Houston, The Alamo Avengers, the President Freedom Fighter, and now Teddy and Booker T. I bring some of those moments in a fun way to life, and I think it turned into a big stage show that gets better every time. And we did a couple in the summer, and they said, Brian, can you do Peekskill October 20th? I said, let's do it on a Sunday because who knows what's going to happen on a Saturday. So Sunday we'll be able to go there, and show starts at 7:00.
Yeah. Well, we are definitely looking forward to it. And where does your fascination come from, like, with history?
Well, I mean, I always was fascinated by the history around us, especially, in Peekskill in New York City and Long Island and Connecticut, where Washington, Hamilton, where, Patrick Henry, especially in Boston, of course, in Philadelphia, all around us. You travel to it, you go visit it, you go to a town, you say, hey, let me go check out Constitutional Hall. You come here and you go see the places, if you go to Virginia, you go to Mount Vernon. I thought, I wonder if there's stories that need to be told again, or areas that are unplowed ground that I could go and dominate one portion of it and bring it to life. I can't do the definite biography of George Washington. I don't have the resources, not smart enough. I think these other people work on it for decades. I said, what if I just took one element, and that was his interaction with the spies? What if I told you one element of Jackson, and that's his major win as a major general at the Battle of New Orleans? And Sam Houston, well, what happened after the Alamo? Everyone writes about the Alamo. What happened after?
Yeah.
And then I realized in telling these stories, really smart people just don't have the time to jump into history. It doesn't mean they're not interested. And that's where I come in. I just thought, I'm telling people, getting them excited about history again. And then they start tearing down statues. They start mocking America's past. The 1619 Project comes out. America was never that great, according to one governor of New York that we're both in. Well, I disagree. We're not perfect, but what makes us great is that we try to be. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to push back. And now it's turned into a big war for history and against people that want to tear it down.
They want to erase it.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it. It's not even. I can't even say that there's a critic that says, "Well, you're being too critical." No, they're trying to rip it down. Union Square, defiling statues in front of Union Square in Washington D.C.
Yep,
I see it every day around Columbia University and around City College here in Manhattan.
It boggles my mind. I don't understand. I do not understand how anyone could think that is the way to do this. We have children, our future that are going to grow up, they need to learn. We need to learn the ugly, the good, the bad, because that's what makes us not repeat history. And that we have to learn from it. We can't just hide it, you know?
I thought so. I thought the most interesting thing is you can see and feel the places in which they wrote about and where they lived. I mean, when people say this happened in history, well, and they go to ancient Rome, if you're lucky enough to go to Italy, you could feel it and see it. And it's a great moment. So it's great. But you don't have to go to Italy to get American history. You can go around us. And I can tell you that Alexander Hamilton was right here, and Aaron Burr was shot right here, Alexander Hamilton right here. George Washington said failed to his troops right in downtown New York City. Sam Adams was able to take on the British in the siege of Boston right here. John Adams lived right there. This is where Thomas Jefferson came out and here's the Declaration of Independence, wrote of it. Here's where he crossed out some of the words that his fellow founding fathers didn't find acceptable. And here's where James Madison lived. And this is the burn marks that are still in the White House after the British burned it down. And Madison escapes with his life, and his wife almost didn't. Wow. So I don't have to take my word for it. Go see it. Go see what they saw.
And they're going to miss out on that. And that's truly heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It's sad. Right in Goshen, I don't know if you're familiar with Orange County, right in Goshen, George Washington had his offices.
Yeah.
My friend's building.
Yep.
Her office was right in his office. Like, it's crazy to me. And they kept it all original. Like, the whole building is what it looked like when he was there. It's amazing.
It is. I mean, and we've done a great job as a country putting up the signs and preserving, in many cases, through private funding. A lot of it is daughters of the revolution of the past. They knew we got to save Teddy Roosevelt's house. Up come the daughters of the revolution. We got to save Washington stuff. We got to say people are going to see it. This country's going to be special. And a lot of people in those times kept history for us. So at least we could do is read it. At least we could do is understand it. How dare we judge people in the past by our own standards as if we figured it all out? Mm-hmm. We haven't.
No, nope, not at all.
I just think that that's what I try to do. I find people at the end of these shows come up to me and say, I didn't know that. I appreciate it. And it's I just try to make the whole night motivational and kind of inspirational because I start with a lot of the sports stuff.
So what do you think has changed the most about politics since you've started hosting and really getting into politics and reporting about politics?
I think people got more into it. More people are into it. I can't tell you. I started in sports, and everybody wants to talk about their team. I got it. I used to do sports radio. You got to find out whatever city you're from. I understand it. But now politics is not, are you interested? It is who you're voting for. And everybody judges you by who you vote for or don't vote for. So, and I think it was happening before Trump. People want to blame Trump. I don't blame Trump. Trump just rose up and says, this is me. And other people say, how dare you get elected? And how people say, how dare can you not vote for him? He brings up passion. He knows how to speak to people. He's the exact opposite of what you think he would be. I think he likes everyday people more than he does rich people. I think he likes celebrities, but I think he's just as happy with a guy that just came back from Iraq or Afghanistan. He's more intrigued by them or cops, that saved him the other day, the Secret Service and the Palm County cops that chased down the would-be assassin. Mm-hmm. The reason why he got elected and got more votes the second time than any Republican in history is because he relates to everyday people. But it really bothers other people like Robert De Niro, and I can't quite figure out why. Just don't vote for him.
Yeah.
What's with the hate?
I don't know. I have asked my more liberal friends, and their answers are always the same. They hate him because he's evil. They hate him because he's racist. And I said, "What? How? And they never have an answer."
Exactly. They can never answer the question.
Right. Yeah, it's just something about him. I'm not sure. But, I also noticed there was a lot of hate for Bush.
Yeah.
I remember that David Letterman was mocking John McCain's age relentlessly every single night when people were actually watching late night shows. And I thought to myself, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
It was one of the first times I thought, because Johnny Carson, which predates you guys, I get it. But he was just a legend that got 20 million viewers a night. You wouldn't really tell if he was Democrat or Republican. He was friends with Ronald Reagan, and he was friends with John F. Kennedy. and you didn't know where he voted for because he didn't think it was his job. Now I watch the late night shows, and they're all news shows.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and these guys. So, and they all hate Trump. They just can't stop.
No, it's a. I mean, I know they say derangement syndrome, but it's kind of like a sickness in a way, an obsession. I call it an obsession, and it's not good. It's not healthy, and I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever end. That's what I fear.
We'll see what happens. I think when people know if Trump wins, they'll know he's done in for either way.
Yeah.
So there'll be a new generation. There won't be any pushback from the current generation. We know Joe Biden's gone, and Donald Trump will be gone, and the next group will be 40 and 50. So I think it'll be good for the country.
Good. Yeah. No, that's true. I never thought of that like that. And as a history buff, and you're knowledgeable in politics, I'm not as knowledgeable, but do you think we'd be better off to get rid of the two-party system, or is it something that we definitely need?
I don't know what system would be better. You usually got to be able to consolidate people, get to some type of collective thought.
Yeah.
Have a mission statement because you represent an entire country. That's why you put up a cabinet of different expertise. So the cabinet, the party is supposed to give an idea of where you're heading as a country with an idea of where you stand for as a party. It seems to have worked.
Yeah.
But I would see, just as you go to a period of polarization, maybe we'll have a period of reconciliation where it's no longer cool to call the other person terrible names.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting at. Like, I feel that with the party systems, people are, I'm Democrat, so I have to vote Democrat, or I'm Republican, so I have to vote Republican. And then I don't think that either side actually looks at maybe the other person's policies or who they are. They're just, picking what party they're in. Yeah. So I always said, like, I wish it could be like back in high school. You ran for president, you went up there, you weren't in a group. It was, hey, this is me, these are my beliefs, this is what I want to do. And you didn't, and that's it. You voted for the person. But I think now with social media, people are just voting Democrat or Republican without caring about what changes are happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I heard some people describe it, where we agree on maybe 40% of the things, but the last 10% really divide. Mm-hmm. And I think what really gets me about this cycle is common sense. It used to be like, we need universal health care. But what the objective was is to get people health care. How you approached it is one thing. So, I thought that those days were good. I want more money in the military. I want less money in the military. All right. But now you have, do you think you want to get somebody in the border? We just got 8 million people. We have no idea who they are. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, do we really need to spend $7 trillion on a green agenda that can't be backed by science when we're already $30 trillion in debt? There's just a common sense. Of course you have to have a strong defense. I mean, we've totally let the guard down. There's been no push to recruit like we used to recruit from the military. I think that, we're seeing overseas. We used to be proud of our presence overseas. We don't seem to be doing that now. So, having boys play in girls sports, really? Do you really need me to say that? Don't tell your parents that you're transitioning. Do you really think that this should be an issue? These aren't the same issues. I hope we get to normal issues again.
Yes, that's normal. Exactly. Normal and important issues, not the little things that, you want to change something here and there, but they're making that a big issue.
Right. I mean, if you say you don't like oil and gas, well, do you know who the most responsible, environmentally conscious country in the world? I think outside maybe one of the Nordic countries. Fine. But do you know that everything you use needs oil? Do you know everything that we want to make to cook, to live our lives, to make jeans needs oil and gas? Why are you vilifying those people? Why are you vilifying rich people? What happened to common sense? Why is that person successful? I'd like to be that way. I'd love to we used to go try to be mentored by the successful. Now we try to vilify the successful and say they should be giving up more of their money. That's what I'm saying. What happened to the common sense? Are there some scoundrels? Sure. Are there people that bilk people out of their money and become rich? That's not what I'm talking about. When you tell me Jamie Dimon, who I've never met, became CEO of J.P. Morgan and brought all this money and wealth to the investors as well as people that work for him, I'd like to learn from him. I don't hate him. I don't hate Goldman Sachs. I love, a lot of these men and women work 20 hours a day in order to have the experience when they're 35, 40 have been able to take vacations. They'll put it on hold for 10 years and work hard. That's a choice. They shouldn't be vilified. They're not selling their soul. We got to go back to those things. Pick a career. You want to be a coach. You're not going to be rich, but man, you're going to impact people and you have a chance to compete every day. That's fantastic. You want to make money, you got to go work your camps. You got to go give speeches. I appreciate that. I don't resent them because they coach at Alabama and I'm at Nassau Community College. We have this whole jealousy thing. I don't know where that came from.
I think it's just been part of. I always blame everything on social media. Maybe I shouldn't, but I feel that did change a lot in what we're looking at. We're jealous. We're seeing. We're hearing. We're more than we used to, and more than my parents used to. So I think a lot of that too. It's just, and everyone wants handouts, and it's not right.
And I just think overall, and the one thing I'll try to get through on the show on the 20th is that, you need luck. Absolutely. You need people looking out for you. You should appreciate it. But if you put in the hard work and compete, you're already won. You can't judge outcomes, but you can always control your effort. Sometimes you do everything right. You don't get the job. You don't get the school you want. You don't get the promotion you deserve. Did you give everything? Could you do anything better? Examine it and it'll come. But that feeling of satisfaction when you work hard and do everything necessary, relax on the results because a lot of times it's out of your hands. And stop blaming people. Don't blame the president because things aren't working out in your life. Take responsibility yourself. Have to do some self-examination. Talk to your friends about things you can improve, personally and professionally, and compete. And it's not my senator's fault. You didn't get the girl or the guy. I can't blame the congressman that I don't have the house that I wanted. What you do is be grateful for what you have, go compete for what you want, and be happy that you live in this country along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're very blessed and we're very lucky, and people need to realize that. And like you said, work hard. We have lost that work ethic. We've lost that self-awareness and the taking responsibility for our actions and our decisions. And I full-heartedly agree with you. It's something that I hope comes back. It's something I'm teaching my children, and I hope more adults do teach this future generation that.
Absolutely. So I hope to see you guys on the 20th.
Yes, the 20th.
Brian,
just go to briankilmeade.com and VIP. If you get in the VIP aisle, you get there early, and we set it up with a small group of people and give you an idea what the show is going to be like. Answer any questions about the news, about Fox or anything, and then we interact with each other. It's usually one of the coolest parts.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to get there early,
and that's October 20th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, just give me your names. We'll get you passes, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person.
And Brian will be at the Hudson Valley Paramount Theater October 20th at 7 p.m. You can get tickets at briankilmeade.com. And thank you, Brian, so much for calling in today. We absolutely loved having you on the show.
Oh my God, what an intelligent man, right? How smart is he?
He's so smart.
So smart. I really enjoyed speaking with him and learning, and I love history, as you know, so that it was really cool. And he has a show, like he said. It's called the History, Liberty, and Laughs Tour. He's doing this tour. He's going to be again in Peekskill, October 20th at 7 p.m. If you love history, or you just want to go because you like Brian or want to hear what he has to say, this is the perfect show for you. He's going to take you kind of on a journey through America's past and then connect these historical events with issues today. So kind of tie them in to say, hey, let's not repeat history. This is what happened. We don't want this to happen because of that. And I cannot wait to go. And again, October 20th at 7 p.m. And that's in Peekskill at the Paramount Hudson Valley Theater.
I can't wait for it.
I know. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So everyone, you can get your tickets at briankilmeade.com.